people would argue that it still does. And so we had all kinds of ways to keep black people from voting. We had poll taxes. We had literacy tests. We had, I think some places even required them to count how many jelly beans were in a jar. All kinds of ways to keep black people from voting. This happened. I don't think anybody can deny that that was going on. And as far as I'm concerned, there is a pattern now of voter suppression going on in our country right now. And the Calais decision just plays into that by pretty much gutting the Voting Rights Act, which, by the way, was reaffirmed many times in a bipartisan way in acknowledging that this kind of racial discrimination occurred and that as a democratic country where everybody has an equal vote, that's not tolerable. But suddenly it's A-OK. Just because the Supreme Court says so. No, it's not the entire Supreme Court. It's a 63 majority, which I consider to be basically an out-of-control Supreme Court majority where there is a pattern of this kind of decisions out of this court. So just because this court says so doesn't mean I agree with them. So meanwhile, there is voter suppression going on. You have an attorney general who sued at least 29 states to get these states to turn over their voter rolls. Why? What does the Department of Justice, what does the executive branch want to do with all this voter information? Up to no good, I would say. There's this huge push to pass the SAVE Act. It's more Save Trump Act. And what does that act do? It would require millions and millions, all of us who are registered to vote, suddenly we will have to show proof of citizenship, either through a birth certificate or married people who take their partner's name will not have a name that matches their birth certificate. So what are they going to do? There are going to be millions of people who are not even going to register to vote. And you think Trump doesn't know that? Of course he does. That's why he wants the SAVE Act to be enacted. That's why the SAVE Act enacted, because they know that millions of people will be literally disenfranchised by not even being able to allow to vote. And then with this regime, once you do vote, they will challenge your vote as they did in the last elections. So voter suppression is going on. It's very reminiscent to the kind of stuff that was going on that the Voting Rights Act was intended to address, to fix.
Shut up, dummy.
And now you have a Supreme Court that says, oh, never mind all of that. Never mind all of that history. And over 3 cases, they succeeded in gutting the Voting Rights Act. And don't tell me that the provisions of the Voting Rights Act still exist in a way that is pretty much unenforceable, because the racial gerrymandering is going to be okay unless the legislative body that does the gerrymandering says, oh, by the way, we intend to racially discriminate. Are you crazy? You think that state legislators are going to be that overt about it? Of course not. So you have a Voting Rights Act that you claim is still intact. Please.
What is wrong with you?
Give me a break.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a moment ago, our colleague Senator Hirono said there's a lot more to say, and indeed she's right. And in fact, I want to go back to her comments. She began by saying we have a long history of racial discrimination in this country. That's undoubtedly correct. And then she said, quote, we had poll taxes, we had literacy tests, we even had tests of how many jelly beans are in a jar. Mr. Chamberlain, when Senator Hirono says we had poll taxes, I want to ask you who we is, and in particular, what party was it that implemented poll taxes in the South?
And I don't want to necessarily speak in every single case, but I'm pretty confident it was mostly the Democrats.
And what party was it that put literacy tests in place in the South?
Same answer, mostly the Democrats.
And what party was it that had tests like how many jelly beans are in a bottle?
The Democrats.
Tell me, what party were the founders of the Ku Klux Klan from?
I'm pretty sure that was the Democrats.
Indeed. In fact, Nathan Bedford Forrest, the founder of the Klan, was a delegate to the 1860 Democrat National Convention. What party wrote the Jim Crow laws in the South?
The Democrats.
And so on this side of the aisle were members of the Republican Party. Who was the first Republican president?
Abraham Lincoln.
The Republican Party was literally founded to oppose slavery. We came into existence because slavery was a grotesque evil, and it was President Lincoln, the first Republican president who signed the Emancipation Proclamation, who won the Civil War, and that resulted in the freeing of the slaves and the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. By the way, fast forward to the Civil Rights era. Bull Connor, one of the most noxiously racist politicians. What party was he from?
He was a Democrat.
The Democrats, for the entire history of their party, have been a party based on racial discrimination. They affirmatively embrace it. They support it. Let me ask you, Mr. Grime, is discriminating based on race consistent with the United States Constitution?
No.
What does the 14th Amendment say about discrimination based on race?
It's prohibited.
What does the 15th Amendment say about discriminating based on race, and in particular drawing congressional lines and explicitly discriminating based on race?
It's prohibited.
Now, the Democrats are fond of telling this story that is, and I wish I could find a kinder way to say it, a flat-out lie. That without discriminating based on race, that no African Americans will be elected and no Hispanics will be elected. Indeed, there was one fellow online who was a vocal left-wing spokesperson who tweeted out, if I'm advising anybody to run for president, they sure as hell better have a solution to how you make sure that it's not another 100 years before another black person can represent South Carolina. So that's a typical Democrat statement, that we cannot elect a black person in South Carolina without discriminating based on race. I want to ask you, Mr. Chamberlain, who is the junior senator from South Carolina right now?
That would be Tim Scott.
And, all right, I'll tell you what I said online. I said, hey, Grok, who is Tim Scott? And why do Democrats think he isn't black? And by the way, was Tim Scott elected because of a gerrymandered district drawn only to elect an African American?
No, he won statewide.
He won statewide. By the way,
recovery is everything for me. I put my body through the ringer every day. For
Why do we
performance,
have to have
for
these
endurance,
stupid ads
and
halfway
especially
through
for
a clip?
recovery. Perfect Amino
It'll be
is
over
key
in a
for
second.
me.
I
I've
gotta
been
hit
taking
that
it for a
skip
year
button.
now, before and after training.
Joey, personally.
the Democrat position is you can only elect African Americans with a gerrymandered district. I will point out Burgess Owens, an African American, is elected in a majority white district in the state of Utah. He's a Republican. Byron Donalds, another African American, is elected in a majority white district in Florida. He is a Republican. John James, another African American, is elected in a majority white district in Michigan. He is a Republican. And my own Congressman, Wesley Hunt, who represents me in the House of Representatives, he is elected in a majority white district. He is a Republican. And yet, in the Democrats' world, you're not black if you're not a liberal Democrat. There is an arrogance to African American voters. By the way,
in the whacked out world, every headline makes the chaos swirl. It's time for a smoke break. Yeah. Monday and Thursday. Next to Thespian Steele's Tuesday Spotlight. Eddie stopped by on Friday with some snacks. Laugh a little louder while the whole world swirls. Hanging out in the chat will change your world. On happy hour.
Calling all stations. Clear the air lanes. Clear all air lanes for the big broadcast.
I'm going to leave Ted Cruz on the YouTube feed for a bit so everybody thinks about what he had to say. It is happy hour. David Blackman is going to join us at 3:30. Otherwise, it's just me. Everybody's doing something.
And here they are.
Just like something wrong. I don't even know where to start today. We're going to talk to David about this Iran agreement. I hate to say it. I'm a little bit skeptical. I want to believe it. I'd like to see gas prices come down. Here's the thing. if they don't get this figured out soon, and it happens closer to election day or whatever, they're going to say that gas prices are just coming down for votes because they have no answer. They have no clue. So let's get it done. Let's get back to that. And then they'll have nothing to piss and moan about because that's all they do. Other things, the mall, the Capitol Mall, the grassy area, somebody, probably somebody's, took the time to either burn or gouge 8647 into the grass. I don't know if Jim Comey is on work release or what he's doing, but maybe it was him. And then the Washington Post says the reflecting pool looks almost the same. This is how deep TDS runs. It sure looks a lot better to me. I don't know what they're talking about. And he did it for a fraction. Fallout over the fact that Carmelo Anthony blew through $625,000 and never thought to hire a good lawyer with all that money. Yet, once again, he's a victim to some, not to me. The victim is dead in that case. Dem representative warns black voters will tap out of the system without reparations. No. It just never ends. It doesn't make this job any easier. I want it to really be a happy hour. We'll have some fun today. There are some things to hit on, but right now we're starting out with that. And then we'll tour the Idiocracy with David Blackman because there's always a few laughs. There, our show, the Idiocracy broadcast, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. Our thanks to Donnie Turner and family for making that possible. I'm a little bit stuffed up. This heat, this is my 21st Alabama summer. I don't know why. It seems hotter this year than any other year. I started my car 10 minutes before I left for the radio station. It was just blazing. Current temperature is 93 with a heat index of 100, but we know it can get a lot worse. So I guess you call this training for what's coming. The market finished almost 1,000 points up, I guess, on the news. And Trump is currently addressing this in a press conference. He's always in front of the media, so they can't bitch about that. And currently talking about possibly endorsing a candidate in the Georgia Senate race, but that will do no good unless you get the dead people off the voting rolls in Georgia. We can't have another, those two people, let's put it this way. Senator Tuberville has said, without naming names, he says, I know I work in this body with about 6 people that got here through the cheat. He didn't name any names. I'm guessing, not Senator Tuberville, I'm guessing the 2 from Georgia are on that list. Brett McDonald will analyze the market news for us at 5:15 this afternoon and the inflation data that came out today and what all that means. But, hey, up 1,000 points, that always sounds good. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? Well, with a family crisis like a divorce or separation or somebody coming back from the past, trying to turn your apple cart upside down because theirs isn't rolling very smoothly, those things can turn you inside out. How do you make lemonade out of that? You call 819-4810 and reach out for Delk and Tomlinson, attorneys at law. Dana Delk and Jacqueline Tomlinson have hundreds of cases of experience. The legal wisdom is readily evident. But what I love about them, because we talk as friends all the time, when you need advice or guidance, it's the look in the eye. It's that certainty. All right, here's your crisis. Here's what we're going to do about it. And here's where you're going to be at the end. So just follow the lead. Don't try and manage your own crisis, because chances are, if you have the same gift I do, you'll make it worse. Again, the number for a consultation, you may know somebody who is in this kind of situation or crisis, 819-4810 here in the 334, or this website because they can help with adoptions, blended families, anything involving family law, a will. The AlabamaFamilyLawyers.com. For Delkin Tomlinson, attorneys at
The
law.
representation is made that the quality of legal services performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Let's make our first visit to Skipper in the traffic dungeon.
Traffic is brought to you by Victoryland. The winning is 24/7 at Victoryland. Go where the winners go every day, and you can be a winner too. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22 shorter, admission 19 and over.
Well, we have a couple of things going on right now. Highway 231 northbound, just past Jasmine Hill Road. We have an accident there. And in Montgomery, had the report a little while ago of red lights malfunctioning along Zelda Road. So if you're there, just keep an eye out and be safe. Light to moderate traffic all over the area. We will keep you updated. Come by Thompson Tractor in Montgomery and check out their incredible selection of used equipment at their used equipment sales center. See the machines that get the big jobs done. Thompson Tractor off I-85 just past Chantilly Parkway. Buckle up, Wendell J. Montgomery Skywatch Traffic.
And this is a painting of my grandfather, the only one he ever had made.
Sometime, take a close look around your house.
This sewing machine was my Aunt Mary's.
If you have possessions that are irreplaceable, consider this. Each year, over 65,000 American homes suffer a fire due to an electrical problem. Are our possessions safe? To know for sure, call Crosby Electric, your exclusive provider of Current Safe, the world's foremost home diagnostic system. Using high-tech equipment, Crosby Electric will check your hidden wiring, panel box, light switches, and electrical outlets to pinpoint potential problems and make sure your things are safe.
Oh, my daughter's second grade art project. I'd die if something happened to this.
Some things can't be replaced by insurance. Don't wait another day. Call 272-2085 for an in-home no-obligation assessment or visit crosbyelectric.com. Don't just think it's safe. Know it's safe.
Now you'll be safe with Current Safe.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Happy Corn on the Cob Day. Here's to slathering butter and pouring salt on your hot and tasty corn on the cob. Sitting there in the little ceramic corn on the cob boat, resting between 2 plastic yellow corn-shaped skewers thrust into the ends so as to not burn your fingers. Revel as you hungrily devour lines of puffy, tender kernels from their golden tube of flavor. Left to right, like a typewriter. Unless you're one of those weirdos who bite the kernels all the way around like my Uncle Hank. So thank you, Native Americans, for turning us on to a scrumptious summer favorite. Happy Corn on the Cob Day.
I don't know about you, but that's too hot for a day like this. It just is. How about the big excitement last night?
Nobody guarding the inbound pass. Gets it, fires up a three. Let's go. Let's take the lead. That's 107, 106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't believe it. That's it. It's over. The greatest comeback in NBA playoff history. The Knicks pull off a miracle comeback and lead it 3-1. Now 1 win away from a title.
I think the guy cupped himself during the whole moment. And honestly, that I'm not a basketball fan. 29 points, though. I know enough about it to know that's pretty impressive. But that call does not compare to this sports call.
56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Football game. He ran the midfield goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
See, that's an instant. And he just knocked it out of the park with that call. The game, that was over a period of time, orchestrating the comeback. Both great sports moments, but that's I think my favorite football call of all time. And I mean Alabama. So David Blackman joining us very, very shortly. We hope you stick around for that. Our show also brought to you in part by Clark's Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. That's how you protect yourself. I had somebody ask me before the show about insulation. It's a good idea to get it because it really makes a difference. And Clark's did mine. So if you're interested in that type of service, 277-2125 here in the 334. You can also visit clarkcomfort.com, Alabama certification number 09098. We have a call here at 326. Who's this?
This is Luke. I just wanted to say you were talking about amazing sports calls.
Yeah.
Look up the 2012 PBA U.S. Open when Pete Weber defeated Mike Fagan to secure his 5th U.S. Open title. He was so excited that he'd jumbled his words and said, "Who do you think you are? I am."
I got to check that out. What year was that?
2012. Just look up Pete Weber, 2012.
All right, Pete Weber. Gotcha. Thank you so much for the suggestion. We will probably get to that in the 5 o'clock hour. Right now, we've got news just ahead of David joining us.
News is brought to you by Budget Floors and More, your new best friend.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Attorneys for Jackson Hospital and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama returned to bankruptcy court Wednesday. The meeting focused on procedures for an upcoming emergency hearing involving a dispute over reimbursement rates. Jackson Hospital faces shutdown unless Blue Cross agrees to provide insurance reimbursements comparable to what it pays Baptist South. A new arena football team is coming to Montgomery. The capital city will soon be home to the Montgomery Catfish, an American Arena League affiliated club. The new Montgomery Catfish will kick off their inaugural season in April 2027. Tryouts for the team will be held later this year.
I'm in.
Crime Stoppers is now offering a $1,000 reward for information on Montgomery's 20th homicide of the year. The victim, 25-year-old Ladarius Wiley, was shot on Rosa Parks Avenue April 11th and died over the weekend in a local hospital. Anyone with information pertaining to the murder of Ladarius Wiley is urged to contact authorities. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Hardwood, tile, carpet, flooring tools, and installation supplies. Find it all at Budget Floors and More in Montgomery. Big selection, contractor pricing, and personal service you won't find at the big boxes. Across from Publix in Del Reyta and online at budgetfloorsmgm.com.
Democrats invited an illegal invasion of our borders and ballot boxes. That's their plan to stop Trump. Block the Save America Act requiring citizenship to vote. And Rhino Jared Hudson, he stands with them, working against President Trump. Hudson backs a Senate rule letting Democrats block the Save America Act, paving the way for illegals diluting our elections, drowning out Alabama voices. It's no wonder why Hudson's already caving to open-border Trump-hating Democrats. They're bankrolling his campaign. Hudson took over $32,000 from the same liberals who bankrolled Kamala Harris. Worse, Biden-Harris donors are funding a super PAC that spends $600,000 propping up Jared Hudson. Bought by Democrats, siding with Democrats. Alabama doesn't need a rhino rookie senator betraying President Trump like Jared Hudson. Alabama Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad, paid for by Alabama Freedom Fund, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AlabamaFreedomFund.com.
Dewan Walker has been an Alabama Power customer since 1999.
We're being squeezed on every side. We hear about Alabama Power freezing their rates. That's the best news we can get. Alabama Power rate freeze will provide real relief for Alabama working families. Alabama Power is protecting their customers by making data centers pay their full costs. It makes me feel at peace. Alabama Power is really stepping up and doing what's right for customers.
Paid for by McGinnis for Alabama, 203 Investment Lane, Summerdale, Alabama, 36580.
Hillary! Hillary! I'm really feeling my pain. I sure could use a 5-point plan right now.
I'm Warner McKinnis, and we all need the 5-point plan for Alabama farms and families. Better food security. They should be able to buy Alabama rotisserie chicken with SNAP benefits, not margarita mix. Guide more farmers to the millions of dollars in grants they deserve. Protect our farmland from China and promote sweet-grown Alabama for tourism. We need more Alabama food on the plates of our schools and home. It's time to tell the politicians in Montgomery, same old is not working for us.
Christina Warner McKinnis for Agriculture.
I haven't asked the big guy yet, but I have a feeling he'll like the plan.
This 5-point plan is huge, very special. And believe me, I know the 5-point plan. And all the other 5-point plans are horrible, probably made in China.
Tired of spending your weekends fighting weeds, patchy grass, and a mower that never starts? Mosley Lawn Pros is the solution. They handle residential and commercial lawn maintenance, landscaping, cleanups, and property care so you don't have to. They show up on time, do the job right, and leave your lawn looking sharp every time. Stop stressing over your yard and start loving it. When it comes to your lawn, call the crew your neighbors and local businesses trust. One call, one crew, problem solved. Mosley Lawn Pros, built on hard work, driven by quality. Find them today on Facebook or Google.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery. Coming up.
When it comes to your mortgage, who you work with matters. And this is one decision where local makes all the difference. Don't fall victim to flashy mailers, spam calls, or 1-800 lenders who don't even know your name, much less your neighborhood. Those lenders are often sitting in some faraway state, reading from a script, and chasing volume, not relationships. A local lender understands the market you live in, or should I say that we live in. At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can look at us in the eye and trust us with one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Local lenders don't disappear after closing day. Our reputation is built right here, one family at a time. So before you pick up the phone and call a stranger, remember us, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at Alabama Home Mortgage. You deserve guidance from someone who knows the community because they're a part of it. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. Your chance of encountering an evening shower tonight is not zero, but very small. Otherwise, very muggy in the overnight hours, low temperature in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another mostly sunny, hot, and humid day. Rain chances 20% or less. I think the heat index will be teasing to triple-digit levels tomorrow and over the weekend. We'll take the weekend rain chances up just a notch to maybe like 40% Saturday, 50% Sunday, 60% by Monday. This as a frontal system approaches. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm Bill Whitaker.
I'm Anderson Cooper.
He quit.
I'm Sharon Alfonsi.
I'm John Wertheim.
I'm Cecilia Vega.
I'm Scott Pelley.
Fired.
Those stories tonight on 60 Minutes.
Welcome to the world of Idiocracy with Greg Pamela and experts, especially David Blackman, talking about all the latest mess. Get it off your chest and tune to the best. The tales of Idiocracy. The tales of Idiocracy. Oh, the tales of Idiocracy. It's the tales of Idiocracy.
And we go to somewhere in Dallas and vicinity. I don't know if it's north or south of Dallas or even west. But he's the best political blogger out there, an oil and gas industry expert, held in great esteem by the entire industry. He appears on shows that won't have me for any reason. Please welcome the one and only David Blackman. David, good to have you with us.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
See that? You hear that authentic Texas y'all? If I tried to say that, I would sound like such a phony. Nobody wants to be that. Hey, I was just looking at the world of sports. Remember Brian Urlacher with the Chicago Bears? The Bears.
Vaguely. Excuse me.
He's the rare athlete who stood up and torched Illinois Democrats for allowing the Bears to leave the state.
Oh.
You know?
Good for him.
Trickster, the fat bastard governor, he spent $2.5 billion on expenses for illegal aliens, from healthcare to food to shelter, money, walking around money, whatever that. And the city, that idiot mayor, that shrieking goofball, between the two of them, they couldn't come up with a plan to keep the Bears, but they had plenty of money for non-citizens. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, well,
because
that's priorities. That's just their priorities. They don't want the people in the city to have any joy in their lives. That's part of their agenda.
I don't understand how they can continue, how they can even be a threat in the midterms, because really, what do they have other than TDS? Yeah, I'm a little frustrated. I want your take on this latest Iran deal. Now, the market seems to have bought in. The Dow flew up 1,000 points today. I've seen this before, though. And
it's not even
I'm wondering what's going to be different about.
Yeah, it's not even an agreement. It's the president in his press conference just now said it's a memo of understanding. What does that mean? Well, it's a deal on how to go about making a deal. That's what a memo of understanding is. And Iran's already announced they haven't agreed to anything. Israel's already announced they haven't agreed to anything. It's just nonsense. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I don't want to. I'm not going to give the president any more credibility, anything he says about this war, until he proves it.
It's very hard to do that, given, and again, where he hurt himself on this entire issue was the 2 to 4 week framework when he first went in. Was that early March, late February? I can't remember now. It's so
March
long
1st.
ago. I know we've had 2 seasonal changes since, and it's this constant up and down. We got a deal, we don't, and frankly, I don't know how you can have even a memo of understanding with the barbarians that run that country.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it just, even if you get a deal with them, even if there is a deal eventually, which this isn't, what's it worth? It has no value. This is a regime that is filled with uncivilized, pathological liars.
You're being too kind.
Yeah. And, well, we're on radio. We do have standards. So yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like making a deal with Al Capone or whatever other gangster you want to name. These are not civilized people. They don't do deals with heathens like us. What do they call us? Not heretics, but what's the word they use? Anyway, infidels. We're infidels.
Oh,
They're
infidels,
not going to make
yeah.
any deals with us. They're not going to do a deal with us.
A question, something I saw in your wheel of expertise, that as opposed to the Arab embargoes of the 70s that caused painfully long gas lines, rapidly rising prices, are we now the number one oil exporter in the world?
We're the number one exporter, the number one producer, the number one refiner. We're the number one everything where oil is concerned, and natural gas. Absolutely.
What is?
Yeah.
I need your take on some other headline I saw relative to all of this too. That we were somehow getting hundreds of millions of barrels of oil through the Strait of Hormuz with the military.
Yeah.
in there.
See, that statement by the president yesterday is actually true, and accurate and factually accurate. That has been happening. It's been now confirmed by several independent sources. And they've been doing it with drones, drone boats, drone ships, and choppers. The helicopter that was shot down and the pilot and co-pilot thankfully rescued was part of that operation. But what's been happening is the tankers and other commercial vessels they'll have transponders for GPS tracking. And they've been turning those transponders off and gone dark, no communications, and Iran's radar installations have all been knocked out. So they haven't been able to see them with radar or on GPS. And so the IRGC doesn't know how to target those ships and isn't able to at night. So they've all transited at night, and it's added about 100 million barrels total onto the market over the past month. But we have a market that is 100 million barrels per day, not per month. And we've had about a 10 million barrel a day shortage from that market in supply. And so it's helped, certainly. I think it's provided more of a cushion to avoid a major price spike, but it isn't a solution to the issue. You have to somehow seize real control of the Strait of Hormuz, and we don't have that.
I need a second here because I need to set a reminder because the United States is playing Paraguay in the World Cup tomorrow night, and I don't want to miss that.
Oh my God. Man, I tell you what, I am going to be out of my mind sick of soccer just by Monday. I'm already sick of it. And
I'm already there too. It's like, okay, have a good time. We had a packed house in Auburn for Iceland and some other country.
Did they play already? Has there been a game already?
I think it was like a warm up or something. I don't know. But Auburn turned out big, but Auburn's a huge sports town and they're passionate there. I had tickets and forgot to go. Oh, by the way, on all of this and gas prices, somebody says $3.39. That's what I paid today on Vaughan Road. How is all of this drama up, down? We're going to attack tonight. No, don't RSVP to that because we're not going to attack tonight. How does all of this in the sum of its parts impact gas prices today and moving forward? Are we going to see spikes
I just
up
filled up
or
at
down?
a station where it was $3.27.
Well, you're in Texas.
Yeah, but I'm in Texas and it's a little lower here. But so I mean,
and you live in an
right
area
now,
governed by conservatives or Republicans, at least.
Right, exactly, just like Alabama. But we have a lot of refineries here, and a lot of production, more production, and everything, and so our prices tend to be lower. But just nationwide, it's actually at a fairly normal level for gas prices right now. Over the past decade or so, this is right where the average has been. And so it's not inordinately high, not inordinately low like it had gotten in January and February. It's not going to go back to those low levels. I don't think it's ever going to go back again in my lifetime to those low levels. But it's certainly not anytime soon. Even if you were to open the Strait of Hormuz today, you're not going to normalize the markets for a year now. I wrote a piece at the Daily Caller that was published yesterday based on an interview I'd done with a real expert at Inveris, they're now predicting prices to remain elevated higher than current levels, actually, through middle of next year at least, and probably longer than that. Just because there's been so much displacement in the market, we have had when you look at what the normal flow through the Strait of Hormuz was, a normal supply for the market as of March 1st, before it shut down, we're about 2.2 billion barrels of oil short now from where we were because of that shutdown. And that will take not weeks, but months, maybe years to normalize, okay, and get inventories back up where they need to be, in addition just to supply current demand. And we haven't had a lot of demand destruction. There's not going to be a lot of demand destruction because there's no viable alternatives. And so, no one should think gas prices are going to go a lot lower than they currently are now. It might go a little lower, but they're not going to go a lot lower. Okay. And they could go much higher if this thing continues to linger. And I think it's going to continue to linger because, we don't have a deal here. Okay. Regardless of what the president's saying, White House is saying, there's no deal here. And there's not going to be one.
Even if we had one, why would we expect them to honor it?
Right. Well, you can't expect them to honor it because they're not honorable people. They're not civilized people in terms of the American notion of that definition, right? And so they're not going to honor any deal they make. And it's just going to be, if we don't have control of the Strait of Hormuz as a country, then we just leave them in a position of leverage there. And, but here's the other thing, just in terms of the good that's come out of this.
Okay.
Within 2 years, every country in the Persian Gulf will have a alternative method of getting their oil onto the market. What Iran is doing right now with the Strait of Hormuz is slitting their own throats in terms of geopolitical leverage. That strait is the only leverage point they have. And within a year, maybe 2 years, it will be gone as a leverage point. They won't even have that anymore. So they're slitting their own throats doing what they've been doing. And that is a real benefit to the world that the United States has provided in this conflict.
Oh, and they're lining up right and left to compliment President Trump for being so effective at this.
Yeah, well, I guess he's been effective. Yes, the military has certainly been effective.
Yes,
the U.S. military has been incredible throughout this whole thing, just incredible, unrivaled in the history of the world. What the American military is capable of doing. The president has been someone who needs to stay off of his true social feet. That's what the president has been.
It is, from the beginning, okay, we don't want the people of Iran knowing what they're capable of and how they, I wouldn't even say it's how they think. They're just that way. We don't want them to have a nuke. Okay, let's get it taken care of. Let's get it done. Let's move on. Short-term collateral impacts on the economy, and by this time, it should have all been over, and we'd be seeing, the kind of, here's the odd thing. The economy, in many respects, seems to be growing.
It is growing, yes. No doubt about it.
By leaps and bounds, but it's, people look at the economy, this is just my definition. The economy, the state of the economy is a very individual concept. In other words, if you're out of a job or you're not paying your bills or able to pay your bills, then the economy sucks.
That's right.
If you're in the right places and prospering off this blast of growth we've had, then great. Yeah, it's an excellent economy. So, and of course, the Democrats and the media, right at their feet, are constantly blasting the word affordability, when in fact so much of what has become more expensive happened under Joe Biden, who, by the way, I put on Facebook today as a reminder to conservatives that the people you are, it's a picture of Joe, looking at nothing, making eye contact with the next wife, I'm not sure. It's a picture of Joe with that vacant stare, and a reminder that the people you're arguing with believe that this guy was fully mentally capable for 4 years.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind before you get too far off.
They just live in an alternative universe that doesn't exist. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. And another positive in all of this, let me just make sure I'm counting my beans properly. The coalition that Trump has negotiated with the other countries in the Middle East, that's pretty impressive.
Yes.
To get them, lined up and on our side.
And these are, no, go ahead. Finish.
No, back in the 70s, it was the Arab oil embargo. They were united against us.
Yeah.
Now we've got at least a coalition that seems to at least somewhat appreciate what we're doing there, because they don't trust Iran any more than we do. In fact, I would venture less, because they know the beast much more because of proximity. I'm just guessing.
Well, that's right. And these are Arab countries where Iran is a Persian country with a different sect of the Islamic religion than the Arab nations have. And so they're not necessarily religiously aligned, or certainly not culturally aligned. And these countries, like the United Arab Emirates, like Qatar, Kuwait, these are, and Saudi Arabia is already an economic powerhouse. These are emerging, rapidly growing economies that are natural trading partners to the United States, whereas our traditional allies in Europe are declining economies, declining economic powers, whose government systems are less and less aligned and compatible with American democracy. Do you know that in the UK, in England alone, more than 12,000 people now have been arrested and prosecuted by the government for making mean posts on social media? Many have served long jail terms. It's just that is not a country that is any longer a truly natural ally of our country. So another outcome of this conflict is going to be a big, massive reordering of trading blocks among nations. And, what we've been used to in our lives as who our allies really are, we're going to need to adopt our thinking on that, because the world is changing very rapidly in that regard.
And most people seem blissfully unaware of that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what's disturbing as hell to read about the crimes that are being committed against citizens by the Sudanese and others who have just walked into England, the situation in Ireland. And the police are turning their hoses on their natives and not the immigrants.
Yeah.
What do they think is going to be the eventual outcome of that? To me, it's civil war.
Well,
if they want to, unless they want to be subservient to the immigrants.
That's right. But that's the agenda. Okay. The people there have made the mistake. They've all been miseducated, like we have in the United States, brainwashed to subsume themselves to open borders and the climate change religion and all the COVID nonsense, disinformation from the government. And they have stupidly elected a Marxist government that is actively engaged in the great replacement agenda that Joe Biden tried to execute here in America. They are actively replacing native Irish people with third world immigrants who are going to be much easier to manage, they believe, and dominate in the future. And that's the agenda. And the Irish people who have stupidly allowed themselves to be mostly disarmed by the government are now rising up and protesting. But they don't have a lot of, they're not like America. They don't have good means of pushing back against their government.
Speaking of pushing back against the government, did you know that the Democratic nominee for Senate in Texas, Tallarico, I know. He said today that the Second Amendment is not absolute.
Yeah.
Nobody, they just don't, like you say, miseducated. They don't understand the wisdom of the founders was that somebody's going to try and destroy what we're starting here. So in case the government imposes tyranny, you need something. It's not about hunting. It's self-defense, whether it's a criminal or an elected criminal orchestrating, taking away rights and so forth. That's when you have to fight back to reclaim. What's the latest polling on that clown? And I'm being kind.
The only reliable polls I've seen currently already have Paxton slightly ahead. And his margin in the race is going to continue to grow over time. And the same polls only have Greg Abbott, for example, leading in his race by 5 to 7%. Well, Abbott's going to win that race by 12 to 15% at the end of the day. This is just how these things evolve in Texas. And I believe Paxton will underperform the governor by 5% or so. So I think Paxton's going to end up winning that race by about 10% of the vote. I don't think it's going to be a very close election, just because Tallarico is such a flawed candidate for Texas. He'd be fine in Washington State or Oregon or somewhere like that.
Hey, by the way, did you see that the state of Maine is now adding a swastika to their state flag?
They might as well if they're going to have this guy as a senator.
Do you believe it? What frustrates me is the hypocrisy of it all. In fact, even a CNN commentator said, Democrats, you're really hypocrites for allowing that guy to even make it to the...
and that person who said that is a Democrat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know there's a few that still have a conscience.
Yeah.
We're going to take our top of the hour.
There's a lot of them having second thoughts now. Sorry.
No. We're just going to take our top of the hour break now, friends. The smartest moment I have any day of the week is when I push my inbox on AOL and there's David's daily, and sometimes more than once a day, blog to help me sort out the chaos. You can subscribe to David's blog by going to David Blackman, one word, davidblackman.substack.com. I urge you to do this. If you want his energy insights, you can go to blackman.substack.com. In the next hour, 8647 has made a comeback today on the lawn in front of the Washington Monument, of all places. I didn't know Comey was into gardening, but apparently somebody etched that message into the grass. And so much more, including a return to Texas to talk about Jasmine the Crockett, because that's what she is, a Crockett of Beazle Schmiazet. All right, David, we'll see you in about 10, okay? All right, my friend, thank you so much. Our show brought to you in part by Don Duncan All-American Auto and Tire. Visit them on Facebook, join the VIP club, and get yourself a free service. With summer here, planning a trip, the preventive maintenance is the best. I will be over at Bell Road this coming week, getting my car prepped for a drive to New Orleans. Now, that's 300 miles, but you know what can happen in 300 miles. You can know what happened in town. I just don't want it to happen. So that's why I work with them, and they do a great job on checking everything that could go wrong. I mean, they give you a heads up on maybe you need 2 tires. Maybe you don't. They'll always be honest with you. The point being, when you do need the tires, come back to them. Wholesale price tires with a price that includes installation. 4 locations, 2 in Millbrook, high atop Mount Duncan. Young Mitch is up there. Also in Millbrook on Cusada, downtown at 408 Madison, and Bell Road just north of Vaughan with Doug Mitchell and his group. Look for Don Duncan All-American Auto and Tire on Facebook. SRN News ahead.
Well, traffic busy and building all over the area. We had some minor accidents earlier. We believe those are out of the way, not really causing any issues. We are seeing a lot more cars now on East South Boulevard, I-65 and 85 and 231 to Wetumpka, already cranking up with a lot of cars headed that way this afternoon. We'll keep you updated. Get $1,000 customer cash on Camrys at McKinnon Toyota at the lowest tax rates in Alabama, and it's worth the drive. McKinnon Toyota, exit 212 off I-65 in Clanton. Buckle up with J. Montgomery Skywatch traffic.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
What does it mean for a nation to be successful? I'm Stephanie Bryan, Tribal Chair and CEO of the Poarch Creek Indians. We believe a successful nation gives back. As we've built economic opportunity and prosperity, the Poarch Creek Indians have been able to give back to our neighbors in Alabama and beyond. More than $37 million since 2021 alone. From education and health care to tornado relief, learn more about our charitable giving at PoarchCreekIndians.org.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Today's show is brought to you by 4 out of 5 dentists. Making the 5th dentist feel like a social outcast since 1985.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
This is an SR News special report. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump is sounding very much like he's reached a deal with Iran that could end the war, certainly calling off the strikes that he had threatened on Karg Island earlier today. The president said today that what he called a great settlement has been reached and a signing could take place as soon as this weekend, likely in Europe. Iran has not confirmed any such agreement has been achieved. Mr. Trump had earlier said he called off new military strikes at Iran hours after threatening to escalate the war. Mr. Trump said final points and concepts of a potential deal had been approved by, in his words, all parties involved, including the U.S. and Middle East countries. He did not list Iran on that list. The president said the Strait of Hormuz will reopen as soon as an agreement with Iran is signed. Again, that's something he has said could happen over the weekend. No confirmation yet, however, from Tehran. This has been an SRN News special report.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at 2 different options, debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
It's hotter than hell outside. Rich's forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes, and then we're back with David Blackman.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we saw a bunch of patients last month. Almost none came because of an ad. They came because something happened. A fight with a wife who finally said, "Get help." A breakup. A new relationship that made them aware of things they used to ignore. A photo a friend tagged them in. One guy said he just stared at himself in the mirror. And that was enough. If today's your day, call right now. 334-440-3663. I'm Dr. Smith, urologist and advisor to Montgomery Men's Health. Built on almost 15 years of treating men in Alabama, one patient at a time. dedicated to ED, low T, and male performance. Here's what happens when you call. We book you this week. We'll get a lab in an hour. For ED, we walk you through your real options at the same visit. A plan before you leave. Don't let today turn into next year. Call now, 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663. MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of healthcare you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients. From making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly, to getting to know you and your family's needs, and following up on any questions you may have, Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
PSC Equipment and Farm Supply in Raymer always has the best sales, and David's at it again with the Tag It and Take It sale. Saturday, June 13th, load up those trades and bring them with you to the one-day-only mega event. PSC will offer special one-day clearance prices on tons of new and used equipment and implements. Mini excavators as low as $49.95. Mini skid steers starting at $39.95. Quality utility trailers from $17.95. Good Guys cattle trailers starting at just $79.95. And those popular 500 series poly fertilizer spreaders with the stainless steel spinners on sale for $7.99. Tractors, trailers, equipment, attachments, even warehouse products like seed, lime, and fertilizer will have a Tag It and Take It price. The Choo-Choo food truck will feed you, Tony Mills will sing for you, and David Steeless. One day only, Saturday, June 13th, PSC Equipment and Farm Supply, 21704 Troy Highway, Raymer, right near Sykes and Kahn.
Congressman Barry Moore has always delivered for Alabama. As a member of the House Freedom Caucus, Barry Moore earned a score of 100 from Heritage Action for protecting our values. He's helped thousands of Alabama families, fought for our veterans as a veteran himself, and secured millions for infrastructure, first responders, and public safety. Barry Moore helped pass Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, delivering tax cuts for hardworking Alabama families, and stood strong to secure our borders. Now, Barry is taking that fight to the United States Senate. Barry Moore will defend our freedoms, defend the Second Amendment, protect our children, stand up for parents, and keep boys out of girls' sports while continuing to cut taxes and lower prices. Endorsed by President Trump, Barry Moore is a proven conservative Alabama can trust.
I'm Congressman Barry Moore. I've rolled up my sleeves in Congress, and I'll keep fighting for Alabama in the U.S. Senate. I'm Barry Moore, a conservative fighter, and I approve this message.
Approved and paid for by Barry Moore for U.S. Senate.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. 5 reasons to get a home inspection before you close on a home. Homeowners buying their first home or their 10th home still need a home inspection performed. First, you will find out firsthand the true condition of the home, the age and state of the heating and air, the roof, electrical, and plumbing as of the date of inspection. Second, it may give you the ability to renegotiate repairs that the seller will end up paying for before closing. Third, if the results show that the repairs would be too costly, then you can opt out of the contract without losing your earnest money. Fourth, the age and state of the systems will indicate what shape the rest of the house might be in and give you the option to opt out of the transaction or renegotiate terms. Fifth, knowing what needs to be done to the house will allow you the opportunity to update the home properly to your taste. For a list of the best home inspectors in the area, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 334-221-2883 or 551-0225. The Goodson Group.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to schedule your spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give them a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 88007.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Your chance of encountering an evening shower tonight is not 0, but very small. Otherwise, very muggy in the overnight hours, low temperature in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another mostly sunny, hot, and humid day. rain chances 20% or less. I think the heat index will be teasing to triple-digit levels tomorrow and over the weekend. We'll take the weekend rain chances up just a notch to maybe like 40% Saturday, 50% Sunday, 60% by Monday. This as a frontal system approaches. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
I've now been in 57 states.
The world of Idiocracy with Greg, Pamela, and experts, especially David Blackman, talking about all the latest mess. Get it off your chest and tune to the best. The tales of Idiocracy. The tales of Idiocracy. The tales of Idiocracy. The tales of Idiocracy.
Welcome back to our second hour with David Blackman. It'll be somewhat abridged towards the end, and we appreciate your patience with that. And with the Alabama primary, actually the runoff on Tuesday, we're going to be probably not have quite the same amount of time that we normally do on Monday, but we will be back. Right? You're not going on a cruise this weekend, are you?
No,
David?
no, I'll be here.
That's the one word I dread hearing. I don't want to hear the word cruise. Unless Ted's in front of it. Then I'm okay. Still so much to cover, but I got to tell you, I was actually nauseated yesterday when I saw what Jasmine D. Crockett had to say. And then today it comes out, this kid, Carmelo Anthony, morons, for whatever reason, white guilt, because they, or white hate, whatever it is, donate over $600,000 to help him in his trial, and he ends up with a public defender. How does that happen?
Well, because his family took the money and bought a house and 2 cars with it.
Oh, is that what happened?
That is what happened. Yes, that is definitely what happened. And then they wanted to establish a new fund for his appeal, and whichever I think they use GoFundMe.
GiveSendGo.
And GiveSendGo wouldn't house it.
Good,
because they abused the first fund, but think about that. This is supposedly the joy, the pride of their lives. This son, who murdered a kid in cold blood for no good reason, and they take the money that was intended to hire him a top attorney, and instead spend it on themselves. That's the nature of the people you're dealing with in that family.
And rather than direct anger at the people, which would start with the parents, of course, the kid is beyond redemption, but at least at this point. But for Jasmine Crockett to come out, obviously she and the rest, they're not going to be happy until they have an all-out race war.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of it.
Agenda. There's no doubt that's her agenda. Yeah.
And every time somebody like her makes a monumentally ignorant statement like the one she made yesterday, it angers me, actually. It angers me at what Democrats have done to black people, all in the name of help, right? I mean, look what we're doing for you, when they should be saying, look what we're doing to you.
Yeah, what we're doing to you. I mean, Jasmine Crockett's the prime example of that. She's a lawyer. She's an attorney. She's not a stupid person. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
When she says the reprehensible stuff she said yesterday.
Didn't she say she would have stuck a knife in him too?
Well, she kind of implied that, yeah. And set up a straw man scenario that had absolutely nothing to do with what actually happened at that track meet. Okay. They've had to create all these straw man scenarios that did not happen. This kid, so the prosecution had multiple witnesses, African-American kids, high school students, teammates of the murdered kid, testifying against Carmelo Anthony. So this, you know, Jasmine Crockett is not indicative of the black people in Texas, okay? That community. These are honest, good kids, honest, good families, 90% of them. But the people that get the media attention are people like Jasmine Crockett. And, you know, my kids play volleyball. They played basketball before that, my grandkids. And half their teammates have been black. They're some of the best people I've ever met in my life. Okay.
Sure.
So what's happened with that family and with Jasmine Crockett is not remotely indicative of you know, African Americans in Texas, just not. And it's a shame that the Jasmine Crockett's get all the attention from the media.
Yeah, these are the people the media, the legacy media, anoints as some kind of a spokesperson, when in fact they speak on behalf of the worst elements and the destruction that the Democrats have done to families and everything else. I've been listening to this crap my whole life, and it's really getting old. Equality is more than equal rights, it's equal responsibility. And if somebody, I mean, to your point, I saw many comments saying, where's the straw man, as you said, in this situation? There was no reason for him to do it. They had no defense to put on, and he ends up right with the public defender. They'll probably use that to get a new trial.
Well, I think they will. I mean, I think that's really kind of been the plan all along. You know, they're going to claim insufficient counsel. I don't think they can win that appeal because the trial was conducted. I mean, that judge was incredibly careful. It was just,
you have to be.
There were no errors made in the trial. There were minorities on the jury. You know, there's been this claim it was an all-white jury. It wasn't. The jury pool had many black people in it, but all of them disqualified themselves because they told Durham voir dire that they didn't believe they could be even-handed in rendering a verdict in the case. And so
That's
they
honest.
were released, right? They were honest about it, and that's fine. But there's a big Indian community in McKinney, Texas, where the trial was held. A lot of Mexican Americans and several were on the jury. Several Indian natives were on the jury. So plenty of minority representation on the jury. There's not an all-white jury. I think 7 of the 12 were white, and the others were various minorities. So it was an open and shut case. The kid actually got a very light sentence, much lighter than
18 years, basically.
I thought he should get life, frankly, with no parole.
But yeah, 35 years, and he's eligible for parole at 18 years. We have a call. Would you like to take this?
Sure.
Hi, who would like to speak with us?
Yeah, this is Billy.
Hey, what's up?
Y'all have been hitting the nail on the head on every subject today. And, it's just, you think about the family of this kid that took a knife to attract me, okay? They're ignorant enough to sit there and listen to these race baiters. These race baiters flew all down and got with them and coddled them and helped them every way possible to spread their agenda as far as race baiting. And then when the eyes of justice finally looked down on this young man and he was tried and convicted, where are they at now? Where are these race baiters at that told them and made them believe that they actually had a leg to stand on in this case? That is the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life.
And that was a real disservice to the family because it was a shut case. There was no question what the facts of the case were.
None. There's
Exactly
no
right.
negotiation room in this. Yet it seemed like, maybe we can start another George Floyd situation with this poor youth who was so racistly convicted in Texas.
But
Just
to the
ridiculous.
caller's question, where are they going to be now? Well, as soon as it becomes obvious there's no money to be made, they're all going to disappear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly
Never
right.
offended.
Exactly
And
right.
Carmelo will be wondering why nobody's there on visiting day.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're talking about the talking about Jasmine Crockett wanting to start a race war. Well, you know what? There is a race war actually going on as we speak over in Belfast, Ireland.
Yes.
And
there is.
You want to see what a race war is going to look like in this country? Take a look, and I guarantee you, there are a lot of average, hardworking American citizens that live in small towns that will take care of business, and I can tell you that right now. So,
as you mentioned, Belfast, but the people that are supposed to protect the citizens there are turning their water hoses on them.
Exactly right.
Which I don't understand.
Well, that's some of these laws are just ass backwards now, and what we were taught is right growing up as kids is now wrong, and what was wrong when we were growing up is now right. It's just crazy, and we got to get it straightened out.
I have one thing to say to you.
You're absolutely correct.
But Daffy Duck says it with so much more emphasis. Thank you, Billy. Appreciate the call. 272-9228 with 334 if you'd like to join us. You are welcome. As long as we're talking about the Democratic clown show, can we jump to the Act Blue? Let's first revisit what Act Blue is. And in this hearing, what happened 157 times yesterday?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Act Blue is a Democrat voter fraud operation that whose modus operandi is to get big swaths of data on Americans, including the Social Security numbers, credit card numbers, and they actually steal credit card numbers and make contributions to Democrat Party campaigns using people's credit cards without their permission. And it's been proved by the Doge operation, and the Justice Department has done zero to bring the people at Act Blue to justice for their crimes. And they had a big, there was an investigation happening last fall, and during which all of the Act Blue leadership suddenly resigned. And then 2 months later, we find out Act Blue has just been reconstituted under new management and is once again creating all these fraudulent contributions to Democratic Party campaigns, much of the money from overseas. But they had a hearing about all this in the House yesterday. The CEO of Act Blue was there to testify. And even when they asked her name, she pled the Fifth Amendment 157 times altogether during the course of the hearing.
And the whole point of the Fifth is to say, because I might incriminate myself.
Yeah. One of the Republicans asked her to state her name and she pled the Fifth, which is appropriate. It's an organized crime operation. How many times have we seen the films of Joseph Valachi and Frank Costello and all the mob bosses pleading the Fifth before Congress? So this is an organized crime operation. And yeah, she's pleading the Fifth. That's what they do.
Speaking of despicable people, let's talk about Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Speaking of, so Bill Gates Jeffrey Epstein was his best friend for about 7-8 years, from around 2007 to 2014. After Epstein had already been convicted of trafficking underage girls in Florida and took a plea deal. So Gates was fully aware of that, but yet he testifies. He goes in and gives testimony to the House Oversight Committee yesterday in a closed door session, and under oath says he didn't have any knowledge of any criminal activity by Jeffrey Epstein while they were friends, which is a bald-faced lie. Okay, you had to be living under a rock not to know that. Okay. But can you prove it's a bald-faced lie? I mean, maybe he's just that stupid, despite, all appearances and all the praise he gets from the far left about how smart he is. And they had him in there for 4 hours. So no telling what other cock and bull stories he told them. But Bill Gates, as I wrote this morning, it's all a big club and we're not part of it. Bill Gates is a full-fledged member of the club. So nothing's going to happen to him. And that was all for show. And that's, just classic congressional nonsense. I don't know why they wasted the time.
I got distracted because Fox Business just put a picture of Plattner on the screen, and
Oh yeah, I see him there. He's still a lovely guy.
Have you looked at the photo of him, a straight-on photo? Does he not creep you out?
Yeah, he's a very odd-looking individial. Yes, rough-looking guy.
But he's okay for the Democrats. Oh, God, Bernie out there, this is my kind of politician for the future of America, which sadly I think is their real plan, because socialism, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the apparatus of the Nazi Party, the National Socialist Party?
National Socialists, yeah. I mean, liberals like to claim, well, the Nazis, they were really fast. They weren't really socialist. No, it was a socialist organization. Okay.
Yeah.
They were brutal socialists. Okay. And if you want to call them fascist, you can call them that, but they were socialists. They had a system. They ran the government system, the government controlling the means of production, as in any socialist system. And it was just a more brutal form of leftism than the socialism practiced in some of the other European countries. But it's all socialism. At the end of the day, they're all brothers, and they all lead to the same sad, sorry results for the people they dominate.
I'm still waiting for somebody to explain to me, because he leveraged his race perfectly, to get elected, and ultimately to get Obamacare through. You heard Rich Thomas the other day talk about the local hospital here, Jackson. I know there was some mismanagement there, but hospitals in general and healthcare costs, under the hilariously misnamed Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
When are people going to wake up? Are they so bereft of any critical thinking they can't take that con job when they're talking about affordability and healthcare as a top issue? Duh. I mean, you voted for that.
Yeah.
And now you're suffering you're blaming Donald Trump?
But, people, because of our pathetic education system, have lost the ability to connect cause with effect.
Totally.
They don't understand how their voting habits cause the problems they have to deal with on a daily basis. California is the most blatant example of that. They keep electing the same kind of people over and over again, expecting a different result. And then they're suddenly shocked when nothing gets better. Yeah. And unfortunately, they're replaying that vicious cycle again in this election.
Very disappointed there wasn't more done to address the vote in California.
Very disappointing. Very, 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 very disappointing. But
these are the same forces of evil that stole the 2020 election.
Yeah.
It's funny. It seems to me, though, that there are more and more people willing to acknowledge that, there was something.
Because it's an obvious fact. Okay. You can only deny an obvious fact for so long, a society. And we've done that with the 2020 election for 6 years now, but that tide started to turn around 2023, early 2023. I started noticing it.
Did they ever stop to think, though? Donald Trump's been elected 3 times. There must be something people like about the guy.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a second look? There may be something in there that you'll see is working for you too. I got to take our next break now.
Okay. All right.
Maybe I'll drink some water. And our final segment coming up, we'll try and have a little more fun in that one. But we've hit some good targets today. Exploring the Idiocracy with David Blackman. Back with you in a minute, sir, at 4:29. Let's hit the traffic dungeon.
And just like that, we have some new accidents in Prattville, Cobbs Ford Road, right before Highway 82. We have an accident there, East Boulevard, just before Vaughn Road, and I-85 southbound at mile marker 18. That's in the vicinity of Shorter. Use caution there. We will keep you updated. Get $1,000 customer cash on Camrys at McKinnon Toyota. And the lowest tax rates in Alabama, and it's worth the drive. McKinnon Toyota, exit 212 off I-65 in Clanton. Buckle up, Wendell J. Montgomery, Skywatch Traffic.
News is brought to you by Adams Motorsports of Montgomery, where your pleasure is their business.
1819 News.
The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld a ruling coming from a district judge when it comes to the scheduled execution of Jeffrey James Lee. The 11th Circuit Court has put a stay on that execution going forward. The appeals court was responding to a request coming from the state to proceed with executing Lee by way of nitrogen hypoxia rather than the suggested method from Judge Marks, which would be a firing squad. That is also the request being made by Lee himself and his attorneys. Judge Marks reasoned in a ruling that the state could easily obtain the necessary items for a firing squad. The state argued back that it's not authorized to create such a method that has not been approved by the state. In this 11th Circuit Court decision, the three-judge panel accepted the premise coming from Lee's attorney that nitrogen hypoxia likely violates the Eighth Amendment when it comes to cruel and unusual punishment. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day. Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
One of 2 suspects that was headed to trial for a murder-for-hire case was found dead in Coleman this past Wednesday. Christian Slayton was found by Coleman deputies who were responding to a report of a shed fire. Both Slayton and Christopher Robertson were facing additional charges of arson along with these murder-for-hire charges. Police are now searching for Robertson in connection to this case. The Better Business Bureau is warning of an employment scam that starts with text messages to people offering them to double their income and work from home. The scammers are then able to get the person to spend some of their own money on supposed startup fees. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
AdamsMotorsports.com on the web, or Adams Motorsports on the Boulevard in Montgomery. That's at Adams Motorsports in Montgomery, where your pleasure is our business. Come by and learn more about the new Suzuki GSX 8R motorcycle and see for yourself the bar has officially been reset.
Paid for by McGinnis for Alabama, 203 Investment Lane, Summerdale, Alabama, 36580.
Hillary! Hillary! I'm really feeling my pain. I sure could use a 5-point plan right now.
I'm Christina Warner McKinnis, and we all need the 5-point plan for Alabama farms and families. Better food security. They should be able to buy Alabama rotisserie chicken with SNAP benefits, not margarita mix. Guide more farmers to the millions of dollars in grants they deserve. Protect our farmland from China and promote sweet-grown Alabama for tourism. We need more Alabama food on the plates of our schools and home. It's time to tell the politicians in Montgomery, same old is not working for us.
Christina Warner McKinnis for Agriculture.
I haven't asked the big guy yet, but I have a feeling he'll like the plan.
This 5-point plan is huge, very special. And believe me, I know the 5-point plan. And all the other 5-point plans are horrible, probably made in China.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist. That's right, man. And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA? Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat. MARGA? Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again. I see. And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest, the asset preservationist. That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE. And I understand that's a toll-free number. Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again. And you make these hats? I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration. And they say CPWABD. Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude. And as you said, there's a whole pile here. Well, there wasn't much demand. I can dig it.
I'm Bradley Earl Ekdahl, and I'm asking for your vote June 16th for Circuit Judge, Place 5, Autauga, Chilton, and Elmore counties. I'm a 20-year veteran of the trial courtrooms of Alabama. I've served you as an assistant district attorney, I've served you as the municipal prosecutor for the city of Prattville, and I've continued to serve you as the municipal judge of Millbrook. I've defended the most difficult and serious cases before judge and jury. I've been serving this community for 20 years. Vote Bradley Earl Ekdahl, June 16th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Bradley Earl Ekdahl, 131 Hunts Alley, Prattville, Alabama, 36067.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. people who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland. The winning is 24/7 at Victoryland. Go where the winners go every day, and you can be a winner too. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, shorter. Admission 19 and over.
Well, hi, everybody. Your chance of encountering an evening shower tonight is not 0, but very small. Otherwise, very muggy in the overnight hours, low temperature in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another mostly sunny, hot, and humid day. Rain chances 20% or less. I think the heat index will be teasing to triple-digit levels tomorrow and over the weekend. We'll take the weekend rain chances up just a notch to maybe like 40% Saturday, 50% Sunday, 60% by Monday. This as a frontal system approaches. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Life's a beach with an ASE loan financing the fun you deserve. It's your summer, your way. ASE has the funds. Apply online or at any of our 9 locations.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your culture. ASE.
Federally insured by NCUA.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
I want to hear this one more time.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm Bill Whitaker. I'm Anderson Cooper.
He quit.
I'm Sharon Alfonsi.
I'm John Wertheim.
I'm Cecilia Vega.
I'm Scott Pelley.
Fired.
Those stories tonight on 60 Minutes.
Boy, Pelly really set himself up for a lambasting. I haven't seen too many favorable comments about his big pity party.
No, he had such an opinion of himself, his own self-importance. He seemed to think he was a Walter Cronkite kind of figure, and he just wasn't. In 1979, almost every person in America could tell you who Walter Cronkite was.
Sure.
I bet you 95% of the people in this country could not tell you who Scott Pelley is.
I would totally agree.
I think that's a conservative guess, actually. So he just, he had this self-image that just did not conform with reality. Sorry, it's my granddaughter.
Hey, it's family, man. That's totally fine with me. I love it.
Beautiful music.
But you're absolutely right. Everybody knew, and this is the thing that gets me about the whole celebrity culture. A YouTube star. What does that even mean? When you're famous, you can't go anywhere without being recognized by most of the people at the place you're going to. In Hollywood, if I ever mentioned 40 or 50,000 times, I used to work with a group called Styx.
Styx, yes.
When I went to stay with the manager when they were in release on a song, they had a grocery store. This is in the mountains, actually outside Hollywood.
Oh.
You're going up winding roads. Every house is more spectacular than the next. And most of the big names in Hollywood at that time lived in that area. And they had their own grocery store. Why? You had to have a pass from somebody who lived in that area to shop there, or you just went yourself. Derek Sutton, who was the manager at the time, gave me the pass. He needed a couple of things from the store. There was only one other customer in there when I went to the store. It was Clint Eastwood. And he was just browsing in the back. Okay. But that's, they have to have that because they can't really do anything without having
the truly
a crowd around.
famous people. Yeah.
Truly famous.
Yeah.
But the word celebrity has been grossly abused.
Well, and a lot of that's just because of the proliferation of TV channels and apps and platforms. And, God, when boomers were growing up in the 60s and 70s, there's 3 major networks, and cable was this new thing that had a few channels on it. And when somebody was on TV, they were famous. If you were on TV, you were famous. Now there's people on TV every night who no one's ever heard of or will ever hear of again.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Even the people on the big shows on the networks and Netflix just get a tiny fraction of the audience that a Johnny Carson would get 40 years ago. It's all been fractionated.
Hey, I love this Fox Business story. Pensions in Democrat states are going to cash in on the SpaceX IPO. Otherwise, they're going to be busy hating Elon because he was nice to Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well. On the fame issue, this woman, I guess she's got a show. I don't know if it's on YouTube or Planet Uranus. I'm not sure. Her name is Miss
Rachel.
Goes to the Delaney Hall, the ICE facility in New Jersey, to talk about the kids that are being pulled away from their families, which is total crap. In a place that's full of murderers and rapists, totally ignoring that. They've got to do a better job of getting people to understand that ICE is there to protect you from that. It's another level of law enforcement to protect you from people that have come in from outside the country who would do you harm, and they don't belong here. We have to have rules. I don't understand. Defund ICE and God, defund
Well, in the
police.
meantime, the same people who make up these lies about ICE simply ignored the reality of the Biden years, in which the government lost track of more than 400,000 children who came in, many of whom came into this country, not with their families, but with coyotes who abused them sexually and otherwise during the journey. Okay. And Democrats everywhere just looked the other way to that and wanted to ignore it and do nothing about it because their agenda was to replace the native population, and everyone knew it. And, those are the biggest hypocrites on earth, and they all belong in prison as far as I'm concerned.
Sad to see Tulsi. I guess she's got some stuff she's going to get done before she leaves at the end of June. Some big stuff. But what do you think of the nomination of Bill Pulte to replace her?
Well, he got pulled today. Jay Clayton.
Jay Clayton. I'm sorry.
Will be the nominee. Pulte was. I cringed when I saw that last week.
Yeah, I remember.
So he was just always going to be nothing but a placeholder in any event. Okay, he was just going to go over there to fill the position and hold it while Trump found a qualified nominee, and he found him in Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton was the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission in the first Trump term. He's currently an assistant U.S. attorney or deputy U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York. Has done a great job there cleaning up the mess that had been left behind by the Biden people, of course. And he'll be fine as DNI. He'll be a real aggressive guy there who will exercise real oversight over these intelligence agencies, just like Tulsi Gabbard has done. And so he's a good pick. And I'm sure that the petulant children like Tom Tillis and and Lisa Murkowski will probably oppose him in the Senate, but he'll get through with 51 or 52 votes.
I heard that Susan Collins changed her vote on the SAVE Act. Does that keep it alive? Does that give it any chance of ever passing?
Yeah, apparently there is a chance now. Apparently they may even have 50 votes. And just would need J.D. Vance to come over and break the tie. So that's a big deal. But the question is John Thune going to let there be a vote on it?
That bastard. I cannot stand the sight of that guy.
Yeah, I can't either. I think he's the biggest problem in America today right now.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. Just the look and the smugness. Doesn't he even know that his approval rating in South Dakota is only 28%? I mean, really, this guy is just out there.
Yeah, he must think he's bulletproof for re-election somehow. I think he's probably wrong about that. I think
he is too.
Headed for a big fiasco like Cornyn suffered and what's his name in Louisiana, whose name I'm already forgetting now, thank God.
That despicable scumbag.
Cassidy. Bill Cassidy, another terrible, horrible human being who never should have been in the Senate.
Dodgers and Pirates this afternoon at 5:40. I wish they were playing earlier so we could talk about that game, but Shohei actually gave up a run or two last night. Are you worried?
Gave up 3, yeah. Only 2 were earned. And unfortunately, bullpen came and blew a big lead, and they lost the
Yeah.
game. But that happens during the course of a season.
That is baseball. David, please have a great weekend. Again, to subscribe to David's Daily Wisdoms, go to davidblackman.substack.com and wise up. It's great reading. Thank you for your time.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Hi to the grandkids, too. I love that. All right. We will be welcoming a guest here in just a moment by a phone. By a phone. It's the heat.
I'm Stephanie Bryan, chairwoman of the Porch Creek Indians. Tourism and hospitality are more than industries to the Porch Creek Indians. Providing a warm welcome is part of our heritage. It's central to who we are. From Atmore to Aruba, we've created more than 20 unique travel and tourism destinations, providing unforgettable guest experiences and life-changing career opportunities for our tribe and our neighbors in Alabama and beyond. Learn more at porchcreekindians.org.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
Paid for by McGinnis for Alabama, 203 Investment Lane, Summerdale, Alabama, 36580.
Hillary! Hillary! I'm really feeling my pain. I sure could use a 5-point plan right now.
I'm Christina Warner McKinnis, and we all need the 5-point plan for Alabama farms and families. Better food security. They should be able to buy Alabama rotisserie chicken with SNAP benefits, not margarita mix. Guide more farmers to the millions of dollars in grants they deserve. Protect our farmland from China and promote sweet-grown Alabama for tourism. We need more Alabama food on the plates of our schools and home. It's time to tell the politicians in Montgomery, same old is not working for us.
Christina Warner McKinnis for Agriculture.
I haven't asked the big guy yet, but I have a feeling he'll like the plan.
This 5-point plan is huge, very special. And believe me, I know the 5-point plan. And all the other 5-point plans are horrible, probably made in China.
This is the News Talk 93.1 River Region Business Spotlight, a chance for you to get to know our area businesses and business leaders.
So I was watching one of my benign documentaries on YouTube at home the other day, and a commercial came on for a place that really caught my attention for PSE Equipment and Farm Supply. And joining us on the phone from PSE is David Chafin. David, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Oh, man. In this business, there's always something. So it's nice to take a couple of minutes and talk about a business that seems really amazing and some of the special things you have going on at PSE. So the floor is yours, sir. Please tell us what you want our listeners to know.
This is our 5th event. It's called Tag It and Take It, and we are gaming up for a big show. We've got Choo Choo's food truck going to be here. We're going to start at 7:30 Saturday morning and go through the last customer served. But he's bringing brisket and ribs and hamburgers and everything you can think of as far as food goes. And we're going to have Tony Mills here doing live music. And we've got some great specials going on, big giveaways. And everybody keeps asking me what the giveaway is. Every time we've exceeded what we've started from the start with. The first one was a $500 shopping spree. Then we went to a $1,000 cash, 4-day, 3-night vacation. It's going to be larger than that this time. So everybody needs to come in, register for the sale, and enjoy the day here with us.
All right, that's this coming Saturday, the 13th.
If you're needing farm equipment, skid steers, dump trucks, attachments, golf carts, entryway gates, horse trailers, dump trailers, cattle trailers, anything you need farm-related, anything you need feed, seed, fertilizer, or construction-related, we've got it on sale, huge savings, Saturday only.
All right, what time does it start?
We're going to start at 7:30 a.m. Food will begin at 10:30, and we're going to go to the last customer served.
All right, that's quite the event. Are there any particular products you want to mention special prices on for this event?
Well, I will say this. if anybody's been looking for tractors or fertilizer spreaders or anything like this, we've got the vendors involved this time, and we're knocking prices down to bare bones minimum. And we've got the new Viper zero-turn lawnmowers here. We've got plenty of equipment. We've got about 700 pieces of equipment here. If you're in any way looking in the near future, now would be the time to purchase.
Please give us your location. How will people find you if they
We're
haven't
at PSC Equipment and Farm Supply at 21704 Troy Highway, Raymer, Alabama, which is right north of Spikes and Con on 231. And if you're coming from Montgomery, we're about 20 minutes out. If you're coming from Troy, we're about 20 minutes out. We're halfway between.
And the idea behind the tag it and take it sale, you find the deal you want, you tag it, and you take it home.
That's correct.
I like this. There's
And
almost a challenge in it.
And you will not find better savings ever in farm equipment or construction equipment ever.
All right, if folks have a question in advance of your event on Saturday, again, they're open at 7:30. The food comes at 10:30, and there's giveaways, big giveaways all day long. How can they reach you or find you online?
They can call us. Well, they can go on pscequipment.com, of course. We're all over Facebook now with this. But my cell phone is area code 251-295-2691. If they got any questions, if they need directions, just give us a call.
All right, I have that number down, so if you missed it, you can call me, and I'll be happy to give it to you over the air. Wow, this sounds like a great event. We wish you all the luck. Good weather. I'll see what I can do with with Rich Thomas to make sure that you have excellent weather for this thing and a chance to save money and have a good time and eat well from what you described.
And eat very well, yes. We're going to have a great time. Just come out and enjoy the festivities and enjoy the savings. But we've got a little bit of everything for everyone. Inside of our store, we've got a 3,500 square foot showroom that's full of all your hardware, tools, and that kind of stuff. Feed, seed, fertilizer, hay, pine straw, anything you need is here.
That's this Saturday, June 13th. David, thank you, and glad you could join us today to tell everybody about it.
I appreciate your help.
Anytime. Awesome. All right, and again, that's pscequipment.com. All right, we've got some business and catching up to do here. So let's first stop and visit Skipper, the lonely skipper, in the traffic dungeon. It's 4:53.
Well, we believe most of our earlier accidents have cleared at this point. We have very busy traffic. I-65 and 85 out of Montgomery. Boulevards are loaded up, and all of our feeder roads out loaded up as well. Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka reporting light to moderate traffic. Keep it here for updates. At Thompson Tractor, their new service commitment includes next-day parts and 2-day repairs. This ensures you stay up and running without missing a beat. Thompson Tractor off 585 just past Chantilly Parkway. Buckle up with the J. Montgomery Skywatch traffic.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew. Starting tomorrow, the public can buy stock in Elon Musk's rocket company, SpaceX, via an initial public offering.
Banks and other financial institutions acting, they buy the stock being issued by the company and then sell it to the public. Before that happens, they gauge investor interest to determine a final offering price.
Damian Troisi reports this promises to be the biggest IPO ever on Wall Street. Producer prices here in the U.S. climbed last month at the fastest rate since 2022, fueled by a surge in energy costs after the start of the Iran war.
The Labor Department says the producer price index jumped 6.5% from a year ago. The price of gas up by 23% from April to May.
That is Laura Winters reporting a booming session on Wall Street. At the closing bell, the Dow was up 929 points. The Nasdaq gained 640 for the Wall Street Business Report. I'm Bob Agnew.
This is not headline news. The Knicks came back from 29 points down to beat the Spurs in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. San Antonio may remember the Alamo, but in the fourth quarter they forgot how to defend. The World Cup tournament starts today. When any of the games end is anyone's guess. Scientists found wind coming from a black hole in the Milky Way. Learn more about it in the new documentary, Space Farts. And Social Security is projected to run out of funds by 2032. which explains why your grandmother just started an OnlyFans. This is not headline news.
Here's some good news. Last number on the market today, up 929. Apparently, they have some confidence in this new arrangement with Iran. Still a lot to be learned about that, but that's always good. And oil prices down. Is that adequate good news for you?
No.
Well, that's all I have at this particular moment in time. And when you talk to David Blackman, you also know that there are still sane people left in the world. I'm going to sample a little bit of this. Let me put this on the screen. I love Victor Davis Hanson. When he was reported to be sick recently, and I'm not sure what the status of his health is. He looks pretty good in this clip. He's one of my favorite commentators. He's one of those people I envy because they just have such a great way of putting things. And he's got a few words about Tucker. Yeah. Yeah. Agree. Clicks. Yeah, see, I was right. Evidence galore on that. We're going to come back to this clip a little bit later in the afternoon as we get ready for the top of the hour news. Grant McDonald at 5:15 to talk about that big day on Wall Street.
Pizza Perfect's amazing buffet just got more amazing. To help our customers during these tough economic times, in June, Pizza Perfect has reduced the price of our buffet to just $10. That's pizza, as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink, everything, only $10. Pizza Perfect Buffet, available Monday through Saturday for lunch, and for dinner Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Pickup or delivery. Also in June, get $5 off any large pizza at Pizza Perfect in Eastbrook, where the buffet is only $10 all month long.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama Sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders. Living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
Dinner doesn't have to be heavy to be satisfying. The $15.99 small plates at Epicure and Jack's Tavern come with bottomless sides. Yes, bottomless. Perfect portions, scratch-made flavors, and the flexibility to dine exactly how you want. Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Thoughtful plates, generous hospitality. You'll taste the difference.
June 11th is National German Chocolate Cake Day. And to celebrate, I'm going to put on my lederhosen and bake a delicious German chocolate cake with sauerkraut frosting. Wunderbar!
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he plans to nominate Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and a former Securities and Exchange Commission chairman, as Director of National Intelligence. Mr. Trump announced the nomination on social media Thursday amid pressure from Congress to name a permanent replacement for Tulsi Gabbard, who resigned last month. President Trump has called off new military strikes on Iran hours after threatening to escalate the war. Trump said at the Oval Office on Thursday a deal to end the war is close without giving details. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 929 points. The Nasdaq rose 640, with the S&P 500 advancing by 127. This is SRN News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives. And MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
5 minutes after 5 o'clock on News Talk 93.1 FM. How to know for you. I hate it when people do that. I wanted to cue up this clip from Fox. I'm probably going to have to endure a message to get to it. But it's Brian Urlacher, who was one of the all-time great Bears, the Bears. And he has ripped Illinois Democrats for letting the Bears make plans to move to Indiana. Let's watch. I couldn't agree with him more, and I give him credit because athletes, they're not quite as gullible as the Hollywood crowd, the naivete. But one of the things that's always fascinated me about sports is the impact they have on cities. The Braves, many of you, including the great Rich Thomas, are Braves fans. I like them. They always seem to have a team full of good guys. But they had to get out of Atlanta. It was another situation where the stadium was in a dangerous area. People didn't want to go unless it was a playoff or World Series game because they didn't feel safe. So just like the community of Buckhead, which wants to leave Atlanta completely, the Braves decided to build away. They didn't leave Georgia, but they certainly left Atlanta. Too bad, so sad, because Atlanta is run by the same kind of clown show that Chicago and so many other cities are, who have no concept of economics, no concept of investment. Their idea of investment is to just blow money on their friends. Does that sound familiar? Like hiring people with criminal records to be business developers in Montgomery? Does anybody resonate with that? So this is, the taxpayer, and they don't, usually in most cases, the taxpayer is part of the cost of a stadium, not the entire cost. But whatever, it's an investment that pays the community back for many years, if it's done right. And that's what the Braves have done. They're the only team in baseball with shareholders, which is interesting. So they have an accountability there. And they built this incredible complex in DeKalb County in Georgia. And that's going to be dwarf whatever taxpayer investment was. I couldn't give you an exact number. Employing, giving people jobs. And shame on the city of Atlanta for getting punished by Major League Baseball in 2020 after the George Floyd garbage, losing their All-Star game. And not suing, not doing something to stand up for themselves. That's the sad thing. They were afraid. Nobody in this country should be afraid unless you're breaking the law. Anyway, the Braves are a great example of economic impact and vitality. And, the odd thing was there was some racial component to that edict from baseball commissioner Rob Manfred. And what they really did was hurt a lot of black business owners in Atlanta. Stupid. But we want to be okay. We want to be approved by who? Who are those who approve? If you're thinking about something great for dinner, how about some barbecue? Have you heard about Smoky Notes? This is an incredible place on Eastern Boulevard with an awesome menu and some fabulous sides. And you could put together a plate of food there that'll keep you inert if you overdo it like I did a couple of weeks ago. Among the sandwiches and things that come with a side, I did the brisket melt. It's at the top of the menu, and I didn't really go much further than that. But I've got the Monte Cristo sandwich, and if you got a barbecue place, you got to do the pulled pork and chicken. They also have an amazing array of sauces, homemade sauces that they offer. They got a great kids menu, tenders, grilled cheese, pulled pork sandwich with twists, potato twists. Among the sides, we had the whole group out there of News Talk listeners. Nobody was unhappy. Everybody was raving about something. The mac and cheese with the Alfredo base, the boudin balls, the homemade coleslaw. The cabbage was my favorite because it had some Connecticut sausage and a little kick to it. Really, really good. And the baked beans. Not all baked beans are the same. So if you are looking for some great barbecue, want to try a new place, it's been remodeled. It used to be called the It'll Do Tavern in that area there. It's right next to the Petro station as you go up Northern Boulevard near Lagoon Park. Plenty of parking. Try Smoky Notes. Brant McDonald joining us shortly.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we saw a bunch of patients last month. Almost none came because of an ad. They came because something happened. A fight with a wife who finally said, get help. A breakup. A new relationship that made them aware of things they used to ignore.
Can you wait like a
photo
minute and a half?
tag them in. One guy said he just stared at himself in the mirror, and that was enough.
Well,
if today's your day, call right now. 334-440-3663. I'm Dr. Smith, urologist and advisor to Montgomery Men's Health. Built on almost 15 years of treating men in Alabama, one patient at a time. Dedicated to ED, low T, and male performance. Here's what happens when you call. We book you this week. We'll get a lab in an hour.
You mean
For
the
ED,
NBA
we walk you through
championship?
your real options at the same visit. A plan before you leave. Don't let
When
today
they play
turn
in New
into
York,
next year.
they're going to pay
Call
the
now.
New York tax rate.
334-440-3663.
When they play in San Antonio, there is no income tax.
334-440-3663. MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
You can't control interest rates. You can't control housing inventory. And you definitely can't control what the national news decides
It's
to
close.
panic about this
California's
week.
the worst,
But
but
here's
it's
what
close.
you can control. You control your timing. You decide when it's the right
Okay.
time to buy,
Well.
when it makes sense to refinance, and when to tap into your equity to renovate, invest, or consolidate debt and free up monthly cash flow.
Oh,
Real estate decisions aren't one size fits all, and they shouldn't be driven by headlines or social media noise. They should be
I'm
based
glad
on
to know
your
that.
goals, your finances, and your life. The smartest moves happen when you focus on what you can control and work with someone who helps you see the full picture. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
Oh, sure, but
That's
call me and
Alabama
let me
Home
know you're
Mortgage,
listening.
because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS
And I'll put it right on.
6368, Equal Housing Lender.
all righty.
Rich Thomas Weather Network,
I got to
brought to you
run
by
because Rich
Montgomery
is coming
Painted
on
Body.
and then
From
Brant,
little
but
fender benders to total body
I
repair,
will
MPB
do that
will
for you
fix it
anytime.
good as new.
Just let me know
maybe
when you're
better.
listening.
For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you
I love
back
you
on
too.
the road.
Bye.
Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas.
Thanks.
Well, hi, everybody. Your chance of encountering an evening shower tonight is not
I
zero, but
appreciate
very
it. We'd
small.
like to start 'em
Otherwise,
young.
very muggy in the
Crazy
overnight
right.
hours, low temperature in the mid-70s.
All right, Marianne, I gotta
Tomorrow,
run. Thank
another
you.
Mostly sunny, hot, and humid day.
Bye-bye.
Rain chances
News Talk.
20% or less. I think the heat index will be teasing to triple-digit levels tomorrow and over the weekend. We'll take the weekend rain chances up just a notch to maybe like 40% Saturday, 50% Sunday, 60% by Monday. This as a frontal system approaches. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
I'm glad you asked me that question. I want to thank whoever it was that just called and said, hey, we can hear you. Marianne from Gilligan's Island called. And she wanted to ask, and she asked a great question. She was asking about the NBA championships and how the players are going to be taxed. Now, at the end of it all, they're all going to get a winners and a losers share plus whatever salary they collect. When they play in New York, all of them, the New York players and the San Antonio players, are going to be taxed at New York State income tax levels. When they play in San Antonio, there is no state income tax. And don't think that the players don't notice that. Yeah, maybe there's a little more glamour and sizzle, and maybe it's worth it to some to pay the New York income tax to play for the Knicks. But guess what? There's a reason why San Antonio attracts good players, because they don't have to pay an income tax when they play in Texas. End of speech. I'm hoping this is Brant McDonald. I've already embarrassed myself once in the last 5 minutes. Is that you, sir?
Hey.
Yes.
Are you on there?
I'm on the air.
Are we on the air?
We're on the air.
Okay. I was just seeing if you had any SpaceX stocks for tomorrow.
I didn't buy any stock yet, and I'm probably going to regret it. In fact, it's my fault because I forgot. I'm busy.
Now,
I was doing dishes today.
Well, I'm sure you experienced with IPOs, and usually when peasants get in, we're just making other people money. But
yeah.
I've been buying this XOVL, which is a fund that's held it. So hopefully I got in ahead of time, and was just getting your thoughts on it and seeing what you plan on doing.
Well, I'm going to talk to Brent right now and ask him. But stay in touch with me on it. Let me know how you do, okay?
Well, keep an eye on XOVL, but I'll let you know if I got rich or made other people rich again.
If you get rich, you got to buy me dinner.
Will do.
All right, man.
You got to
Thanks.
come meet it. All right, bye.
This must be Brant.
Yep, you got it, buddy.
All right, Mr. Right on the Money. What a day.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow. First, please address the PPI number that came out. Was that in line with expectations, and what were the impacts? And then, of course, the market started out green this morning, even after that number came out, and then it shot up, I guess, on the news of Trump saying, yet again, we have an agreement with Iran. I'm hoping that's the case. What's your take on all of this?
So, yeah, on the producer price index, it was pretty much exactly like we expected, Greg. I mean, if you look at the producer price numbers, you break it down. First of all, the headline number was 4.9%. That's a pretty hot number.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, you know, there are really two major components of the category. On the one side, you've got goods. You know, that when you think about goods, okay, that's things you make. You know, products that companies are going to sell to consumers. Could be food, could be a whole bunch of things. On the other side of the equation is the services side of the industry of the equation. And services is sort of, you think of that as like professional services, software services, business services, where you're not really making something, you're just providing a service. The services side of the equation was really muted. It was not that big of a deal. The goods side of it was way up there, man. And if you then further break that down, the vast majority of it was energy prices, and so it was pretty much exactly what you would expect with what's been going on with crude oil and with gasoline prices. And as I've said in the past, Greg, it takes some time for higher energy costs to start to make its way through the supply chain channels. And so even though here recently, even in sort of part of the back half of May, we started to see a rollover a bit, I would still expect probably June's going to be, you know, a reasonably hot month as well. Even if this Iran thing goes away, it just takes time for it to make its way into the system and time for it to exit the system. So not a shocker by any means, and that's why I think this morning, you know, it was kind of in line with what everybody thought it was going to be. Market was in the green a little bit. We get the announcement on this, quote, deal with Iran, which this, I think, is the third time that we've announced a deal. And then everything came off the rails when we went into a weekend. So hopefully this is it. Certainly, the market is excited and believes it. Crude oil prices were rolling over a bit after Trump's announcement. You saw the impact on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. saw the impact on the NASDAQ, up almost 600 points. Oh, my gosh, it was a huge day, huge, on this news of a potential deal. Tomorrow, massive deal, SpaceX, IPO. Everyone's going to be locked in on this thing.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it all week. And just remember, even though the market opens at 8:30, this is a colossal IPO. Again, I want to reiterate, the world's largest IPO in history. It's going to take some time for the exchanges to get the order book in balance. From what we've been told and what we can see, even retail investment, retail meaning just average folks like us, not large institutions, the orders are anticipated to be around $70 billion in the morning, which is almost equal in size to the entire IPO amount. So in other words, SpaceX is doing an IPO at a $1.77 trillion valuation, but they're only raising $75 billion in this IPO, which I think is like 550 million shares or something that they're selling in the offering. Well, the retail demand is almost equal to the entire size of what they're looking to raise. So that tells you there's going to be a pretty massive follow-on buying once this thing gets done. I would anticipate probably maybe around the 9 o'clock hour, 9:30, we should start to see it trading. Could be sooner, but that's typically how these things go. And then we'll be talking about it tomorrow.
Brad, I feel like I should get in on this. Is that wrong?
I think if you view it as short-term play money, yeah, go ahead and do it. My general look, I've been doing this 36, almost 37 years, and whenever we've had these huge IPOs, whether it was Facebook or some of these others, it's usually a great day, maybe a great 2 days, and then there's all this profit taking, and then there's it just can be a real volatile thing. I personally think, kind of let the dust settle a little bit. Who knows tomorrow morning, I'll give you an example, and who knows what's going to happen, but they priced the IPO at $135 a share. Let's say it opens at, I don't know, I'll just pick a number, $170 a share. So you'll see a whole bunch of people rush in and buy it at $170, and it may trade back down to $160. It may run back to $180, and a bunch of people be buying it at $180. Then it runs back down to $160. And then maybe a week or two goes by, and the next thing you know, you're seeing the headlines, the IPO, big IPO is, went off, and now here we sit at $115 a share. That's just kind of how these things go. And so that's why I've been saying all week to everyone listening to me, if you have interest, take it easy, nice and slow. Get a dollar figure in your mind that you really want to commit to super long term. And then say, okay, look, I'm going to take 1/4 of whatever that amount of money is, and I'll go ahead and do it on the day of the IPO. And then watch it a while. Then maybe, fire the next salvo. If you're truly a long-term investor, because if you're not, all you're doing is really just sort of gambling. I mean, this thing it's going to gyrate up and down all over the place.
Tell me if this sounds odd to you. One of the reasons I want to do it is just to show support to Elon. Not that my investment would matter to him personally, but, the guy went through so much grief trying to help the government become more efficient. And he's, I think, done a lot of great stuff. I just kind of want to say thanks for looking out for the everyday guy, because that's really who he cares about, just like Donald Trump.
I think so. I think that's a noble way to think and feel and believe. Look, I'm a believer in Elon. I think he's a great dude. He's certainly a very, very smart, bright guy.
Yes.
I mean, there's just no question about it. And but all of the projections around SpaceX are really 3 to 10 year projections around a person and a company and a technology that is going to monetize space activity. This is the new frontier. And it's not unlike any other thing we've seen over the last 150 years, certainly during the Industrial Revolution. You think about rails and automobiles and all this. These things took a long time before. And that's the same thing with SpaceX, although they do have quite a bit of momentum, I will say that. And that's just why I say, if you're a long-term investor, if you're really thinking, sort of that 5-10 year period of time, take a piece of money that you can handle watching move up and down like a yo-yo.
I was going to panhandle for it on the way home tonight.
There you go.
And I'll invest whatever I collect.
Exactly.
Brent, thank you for your time and insights on all of this. It'll be fun to watch anyway.
Really will be, and we'll try and touch base with you tomorrow.
That'd be great.
Maybe if we can, after the market closes, kind of give a summary of how it did and all that. So.
I'm sure, of course, if anything breaks in the morning, 8:30, we're here. Thank you.
All right, buddy, you got it.
Take care. Brent McDonald, Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
All right, what an afternoon. I'm not making excuses here because so many people have messaged me to let me know I had the microphone on while I was talking to our friend about playing a song for her granddaughter tomorrow morning, which is really cool. I want to do that. It's just not a very professional sound, and I apologize for that. I really do.
Sorry.
Even more sincere than that. I was talking to Joey about this today. It's summertime. This job is a little tougher when you don't have a producer or somebody who can help. Like, I'm just leaving the camera on. I'm not going back and forth between we'll be right back and all that. So, because I want everybody to see my shorts and my great bicycle legs. I'm just not going to do that. I've never been a conformist. When Pamela's back, things will get better. And that can happen soon enough. Here's Skipper with traffic. News next.
Well, around the Montgomery area, we're experiencing a lot of heavy traffic on I-65 and 85, the boulevards, all of our feeder roads outbound. And if you're coming into Montgomery on I-85 southbound, mile marker 18 near Shorter, we had an accident, some one-lane travel by that accident site, slowing things there. Very busy everywhere else. We'll keep you updated. Davis Door and Sash, your trusted source for quality replacement windows and doors. Save 10% on materials when you mention this ad. Visit DavisDoorandSashAlabama.com. Call 334-288-6010. Buckle up, Wendell J. Montgomery Skywatch Traffic.
News is brought to you by Bath Innovations. Call Bath Innovations today to schedule your free in-home consultation.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police have identified the driver who led officers on a chase that ended with the passenger in critical condition. On Monday afternoon, police attempted to stop a vehicle in the area of Gaston Avenue. 41-year-old James Bell refused to stop and led officers on a chase ending with a crash on South Court Street. A passenger in the vehicle sustained severe injuries and remains in critical condition. A new chief of police has been appointed at Montgomery Regional Airport. New Chief Marquez James has more than 24 years of experience in law enforcement. Marquez James is a Montgomery native whose background includes working with the Federal Aviation Administration, FBI, and the United States Secret Service. The former Ben Moore Hotel in Montgomery has made the list of most endangered historic places. The hotel is among 11 sites on this year's list compiled by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Martin Luther King Jr. stayed at the Ben Moore Hotel on his visits to Montgomery. In the 1960s, the building became a headquarters for civil rights activists to organize. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Bath Innovations of Alabama can replace your old bathtub with a low-step shower featuring built-in seating, secure grab bars, and slip-resistant flooring, often installed in as little as 1 day. Call Bath Innovations of Alabama today to schedule your free in-home consultation.
I'm Bradley Earl-Ekdahl, and I'm asking for your vote June 16th for Circuit Judge Place 5, Autauga, Chilton, and Elmore counties. I'm a 20-year veteran of the trial courtrooms of Alabama. I've served you as an assistant district attorney. I've served you as the municipal prosecutor for the city of Prattville, and I've continued to serve you as the municipal judge of Millbrook. I've defended the most difficult and serious cases before judge and jury. I've been serving this community for 20 years. Vote Bradley Earl-Ekdahl, June 16th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Bradley Earl-Ekdahl, 131 Hunts Alley, Prattville, Alabama, 36067.
We get a lot of questions about what all we handle at Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader, and we will handle all of your real estate needs.
We handle all your buying and selling needs, from your first home, next home, land, investment property, and even commercial properties.
We do it all and have the experience that shows you what makes us different.
So when you think real estate, think Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. Look us up on Facebook or give us a call at 334-368-6358. And let us show you who you have on your sign matters.
Paid for by McGinnis for Alabama, 203 Investment Lane, Summerdale, Alabama, 36580.
Hillary! Hillary! I'm really feeling my pain. I sure could use a 5-point plan right now.
I'm Christina Warner McKinnis, and we all need the 5-point plan for Alabama farms and families. Better food security. They should be able to buy Alabama rotisserie chicken with SNAP benefits, not margarita mix. Guide more farmers to the millions of dollars in grants they deserve. Protect our farmland from China, and promote sweet-grown Alabama for tourism. We need more Alabama food on the plates of our schools and home. It's time to tell the politicians in Montgomery, same old is not working for us.
Christina Warner McKinnis for Agriculture.
I haven't asked the big guy yet, but I have a feeling he'll like the plan.
This 5-point plan is huge, very special. And believe me, I know the 5-point plan. And all the other 5-point plans are horrible, probably made in China.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How great it is to have David Blackman on the show a couple of days a week to cover the idiocracy, which is basically the entire news business, led by people like Scott Pelley. I did not get a chance to hear this. This is the fat nincompoop who runs Act Blue, who was called into Congress to explain. Had some explaining to do, I guess, but didn't do much of that. Pled the Fifth Amendment a bunch. Oh. I can't listen to any more of that. She can't even read her lawyer's advice. How sad is that? 5:33, let's get an update on your commute with Skipper. Richard weather in a moment.
Well, we are looking very busy everywhere. Interstates, boulevards right now. We have the report of an accident on I-85 southbound, right around mile marker 22 near Shorter. There was one-lane traffic there a few minutes ago. Around Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka, we're just flat busy everywhere. Traffic flow is very heavy right now, but no issues that we're aware of. Keep it here. We'll keep you updated. At McKenna Nissan, you can get up to $5,000 off a new Armada, up to $5,000 on a new Frontier. At the lowest tax rates in Alabama, and it's worth the drive. McKenna Nissan, exit 212 off I-65 in Clanton. Buckle up with the Montgomery Skywatch traffic.
Sometimes you feel like you need a friend, and guess what? They come to you, like this guy, Jeff Mallinson from Georgia Floors Direct. How are you and the merry band over there?
Man, we are doing great. It is hot outside, and, everybody's
going on vacation. They're off for the summer, trying to get some things done around the house. Well, Georgia Floors Direct is that place that you want to come. We can put beautiful new hardwoods throughout your house, beautiful new LVP or laminate. We can do wall-to-wall carpet, or if you want to do a mix, we can do some hardwood in the common areas like your living room, foyer, dining room, kitchen, living room, hallway, and then do carpet in the bedrooms. We can do granite, quartz, and marble countertops, that kitchen backsplash you've been wanting to do and been putting off. Blinds, shades, or shutters. You want to spend some time out on the back porch and all that light shining in. Let Georgia Floors Direct put some roller shades up and make that area a great area that you can enjoy all summer long.
Jeff, I have a question for you. Joey and I were talking before he left and my show started about doing some window treatments in this studio.
Come on.
Because we really need to kind of upgrade our look because we're on YouTube all day long now. And I said, when he brought that up, I said, I'll bet Jeff Mallinson would give some thought to that. I'd love to have you stop by one of these days and take a look in here and see what you would recommend.
Absolutely, man. We can come in there and put some really good-looking wood 2-inch shades in there.
I mean, we have
just make that.
Yeah, we got black sheets over the windows. It would be nice to have something that looked a little more, upgrade kind of thing. It's not a ton of area to cover, but and I hate putting you on the spot, although I am putting you on the spot.
I love that's what we do. We have customers come in every day, and I was thinking about this, and I guess we're blowing our own horn here, but we've got a lot of experience at Georgia Floors Direct. I've been doing this for 34 years. Steve Schroeder's been doing it for 34 years. Chip Mullins, he's been doing it for almost 50 years. Mm-hmm. Just in those three guys, that's over 100 years of experience. So when somebody comes in and they have a question about either an area of flooring or window coverings or countertops, chances are we've experienced that. We have the answer. We have some really good ideas. And so, I'm not bragging, but it's true that we can really help that customer with some tough questions that maybe they've had and some things they haven't been able to figure out. We can help them figure out the perfect way at the right price.
That's awesome, man. So we'll talk soon, and let me know when you can drop by for a couple of minutes and give us your professional take.
I'll come by next week. You just let me know what morning works best for you or afternoon, and I'll be there, brother.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. Georgia Floors Direct, the flooring destination since 1969, also known as the year the O stood still on the boulevard across from Lowe's. See this man and the Merry Band. You're going to be in the best possible hands. Wow, I made a rhyme out of all of that. How about that?
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. All right. He really is a great guy. And the whole group at Georgia Floors Direct is a pleasure to work with. And I have many, many times over the long commitment they've made to Blue Water Broadcasting. So anyway, we've got Rich's forecast. I'm not going to do the stand-up comedy. I'm going to play it. That's coming up.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. Your chance of encountering an evening shower tonight is not zero, but very small. Otherwise, very muggy in the overnight hours, low temperature in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another mostly sunny, hot, and humid day. Rain chances 20% or less. I think the heat index will be teasing to triple-digit levels tomorrow and over the weekend. We'll take the weekend rain chances up just a notch to maybe like 40% Saturday, 50% Sunday, 60% by Monday. This as a frontal system approaches. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
Last night, after that amazing New York Knicks finish, there was quite the heavyweight celebrity crowd in there, including Jerry Seinfeld, who looked absolutely stunned that his team came all the way back, set a record, 29 points, coming back to win that. So why don't we celebrate Jerry Seinfeld in a moment. I've got 2 or 3 of his best stand-up bits ready to play. Stay tuned. It's not that far off.
Congressman Barry Moore has always delivered for Alabama. As a member of the House Freedom Caucus, Barry Moore earned a score of 100 from Heritage Action for protecting our values. He's helped thousands of Alabama families, fought for our veterans as a veteran himself, and secured millions for infrastructure, first responders, and public safety. Barry Moore helped pass Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, delivering tax cuts for hardworking Alabama families, and stood strong to secure our borders. Now, Barry is taking that fight to the United States Senate. Barry Moore will defend our freedoms, defend the Second Amendment, protect our children, stand up for parents, and keep boys out of girls' sports while continuing to cut taxes and lower prices. Endorsed by President Trump, Barry Moore is a proven conservative Alabama can trust.
I'm Congressman Barry Moore. I've rolled up my sleeves in Congress, and I'll keep fighting for Alabama in the U.S. Senate. I'm Barry Moore, a conservative fighter, and I approve this message.
Approved and paid for by Barry Moore for U.S. Senate.
Feeling the pinch on your food budget? You're not alone, but saving is easy every day at Food Outlet, Montgomery, Prattville, and Millbrook. And remember, Food Outlet is priced at cost, plus just 10%. Listen to these specials good through June 16th. USDA split chicken breast, only $1.57 a pound. Get a variety of Hungry Man dinners, $3.25 each. Stay hydrated with the 24-pack half-liter bottles of Pure Life water, 2 for $7. You'll find boneless pork chops, only $2.15 a pound. The 16-ounce size Pillsbury Grands biscuits, $1.97 each. Take home fresh ripe tomatoes for 45 cents a pound. And 6-pack half-liter bottles of Coke products, only $3 each. Food Outlet is locally owned. When you shop here, more of your money stays right here in our community. Your Food Outlet stores are open 7 days a week, 7 till 9. Check us out on Facebook for more great specials. Food Outlet in Eastbrook Shopping Center, Montgomery, Prattville at 720 East Main, and in Millbrook at 3543 Highway 14. Shop Food Outlet and pay cost plus 10%.
Democrats invited an illegal invasion of our borders and ballot boxes. That's their plan to stop Trump. Block the Save America Act requiring citizenship to vote. And Rhino Jared Hudson, he stands with them, working against President Trump. Hudson backs a Senate rule letting Democrats block the Save America Act, paving the way for illegals diluting our elections, drowning out Alabama voices. It's no wonder why Hudson's already caving to open-border Trump-hating Democrats. They're bankrolling his campaign. Hudson took over $32,000 from the same liberals who bankrolled Kamala Harris. Worse, Biden-Harris donors are funding a super PAC that spends $600,000 propping up Jared Hudson. Bought by Democrats, siding with Democrats. Alabama doesn't need a rhino rookie senator betraying President Trump like Jared Hudson. Alabama Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad. Paid for by Alabama Freedom Fund, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AlabamaFreedomFund.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
I love how the postal system has this financial, emotional meltdown every 3 to 5 years that their business model from 1630 isn't working anymore. I can't understand how a 21st century information system based on licking, walking, and a random number of pennies is struggling to compete. What is the reason? And so they always send the postmaster general out. He always has to make a big speech about what tough time that they're having. And he comes out and he's freaked out. He's got rings under the eyes, no shave, pulling all-nighters. We can't do it anymore. We got to go up a penny on the stamps. There's no way around it. We're trying to get some breathing room. The costs and the infrastructure. And we're all like, hey, dude, do whatever you got to do. We don't give a damn. What is a stamp anyway? We don't even know what it costs. 43, 48, make it $1. You're going to get there. You have some money left over, buy yourself some pants and a real car. If I could talk through the post office, if I could say to them, if you really want to be helpful to us, just open the letters, read them, and email us what it says. Thank you very much. I'm wearing contact lenses now. I got glasses when I was 10 years old. When you're 10, people put things on your face, you just leave it there. But I thought I was getting glasses because I couldn't tell what my parents looked like. Whenever I'd ask my mother for money, she'd say, what do I look like, a bank? But when you're 10, your parents are the bank. If I'm 10 years old, I can't walk into Capital One. The teller's just going to say, what do I look like, your mother? So I had glasses at 10, braces at 12. When you're thinking about talking to a girl for the very first time in your life, you want as much corrective apparatus on your head as you can get. I said to my parents, why stop now? Let's get me a hearing aid, orthopedic shoes. I want to look like I got a lot of doctors in my life. Food is so complicated as an adult. It's just, you see people in the supermarket, they're just sweating it out. Nobody knows, what do I eat? The protein, the carbs, and the fat content. Oh my God, fat content. We're just walking up to each other. You look pretty good. What are you eating? Maybe I'll eat that. The whole supermarket itself is designed to break down your sense of having any life outside the supermarket. It's like a casino. There's no clocks, no windows, no easily accessible exits. You ever not buy anything in the supermarket and try and get out of there? It's impossible. There's no way out. You can see what happens to people. When they're walking up to the supermarket, they really have a whole sense of purpose. I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to get out of here and get right back to my normal life. You see that same person 10 minutes later just... What aisle is this? Why did I come up here? Always noticing something new. Oh, they got them in mesquite flavor now. What is mesquite? Wonder if it's made from mosquitoes.
He's just brilliant, man. That buy yourself a car and a pair of shorts. And what is a stamp? We were asking that in the morning show the other day with Rich and Jay. Nobody knew. You used to know, but not now. And I hate to admit that I remember mailing a letter with a 5-cent stamp. First class. But back then you had an option if you really, like if you were trying to impress a woman, you would send it airmail. They had a stamp with a little plane on it. This card or whatever you were sending is not going to travel by ground. It's taking a plane to get to where it needs to go. Of course, I was a little dumb using one of those to send something in the same city I was living in, but that's the way it goes. What do you think? Should we go back to news?
No.
Well, I like Jim Jordan in...
No.
Just this one time. Just once.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because he made a bold accusation in a fiery hearing, and I can't wait. Oh, it's the SPLC. Ooh. Jeez. No. God. He's good. We've had a lot of really good people in Trump administration 2.0. He's just there, and I've always liked him. He's always doing a good job. However, this won't be worth the time he spent to do it unless people go to jail. That Charlottesville rally, a woman was killed. That's accessory to homicide on the SPLC's part. People in that organization, whether they're there now or were when this was going on, need to go to prison, and for a long time. How outrageous that this ridiculous group had such an influence on American attitudes, and all of it used to stoke hate towards Donald Trump, who had nothing to do with it. God, that's just galling. Guys, Montgomery Men's Health is there. If you're withering in the summer heat, you need a little more energy, a little boost. These are the people to call. Make sure your T level, your testosterone level, is where it needs to be, because it affects everything about your life, including the burning of calories and how well you sleep. They can address issues with ED, size, whatever is concerning you about your sexual health. They can help. There's amazing technologies out there that are not widely known, but are available at this medical facility run by a board-certified urologist with all FDA-approved treatments. Make the call, 334-440-3663, or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
Traffic is brought to you by Victoryland. The winning is 24/7 at Victoryland. Go where the winners go every day, and you can be a winner too. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22 shorter, admission 19 and over.
Skipper closes out the commute. What's happening, buddy?
We continue to be busy around the area, Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook, and in Wetumpka. We have had a couple of minor accidents. We do